Oh no! The worst!
Susi kabat imoklu, unoiriv ole, anatazmi.
I'm Agent S.
I'm Dadkula.
And I'm Ethan.
What?
What do you mean you're Ethan?
Just Ethan?
Yeah. Oh, the fingers. Well, I'm from the hot dog finger universe, but I'm still Ethan.
Oh.
But like you're Ethan, like you're a Viking? Like it's a Viking hot dog universe?
Yeah,
No.
are you all Vikings
What?
over there?
Oh, yeah. No, it's Halloween there.
Oh.
Just like here. Yeah.
Oh.
okay.
I don't know why I thought you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Seems pretty straightforward to me. I don't know.
Okay. Yay! All right, let's get this episode started. We're going to be doing Spine-Tingling Spider-Man.
Easy there, killer.
It's going to be rough holding that the whole episode.
Yeah, it's fair. Okay, no, it's just really heavy.
Oh, it's a weapon.
I'd hesitate to call it a weapon.
I'm just saying, you said you were dressed up for Halloween.
Well, I went all in.
Oh, okay. All right.
All in.
I'm sure DC appreciates it.
Anyway, for this Marvel book.
That's what we're doing, a Marvel book. So today we're going to be covering the scariest Spider-Man story you've ever read. It says it on the back.
Clone Saga?
Not that you've ever read,
Ah.
sir.
Not like scary, not like existential.
Spooky scary. Skeletons. No, this is Spine-Tingling Spider-Man, written by Saladin Ahmed with art by Juan Ferreira. So here's a couple of interesting things about this story. First of all, half of this volume is an entire issue, or more than an issue, that was on digital first.
Oh.
And then the second half of it is like, they were like, all right, do another arc, or do like another story.
Okay.
And that was
did
printed.
well enough. Where
Yeah.
they were like, that warrants the rest
Like,
of it.
continue it or do a separate thing?
Well, I mean, like, that'll be up for you to decide.
Okay.
All right, like we first grabbed this book because I was like, ooh, this looks fun. And like the first issue I read was actually not the digital exclusive, because that was issue 0, and I didn't grab issue 0. I just had issue 1.
Few people do.
Right? So read issue 1 and was like, okay. And there's like a moment in it where you're like, oh, okay, I see where we're going with this, because it's not particularly spine tingling until a little later on in the book, right?
All right.
But if I had read maybe issue 0, I'd be like, okay, I'm probably in for it, because that one is like spine tingling, but since it was a digital book, it runs differently, right?
Sure.
So that said, the 0 issue is this much of the book.
But that's like a third of the book.
I know.
Seems pretty important.
I know. Actually, it's actually more than that. I apologize. It's that much of the book.
Oh,
Oh my
Jesus.
God. Okay.
Yeah. So like,
So half the story. Is
yes, yes. So if you read just the 1 through 4, that's fine. You got a good story, or you got
Okay.
a story.
It still works.
We'll be up to.
Was it
We'll find out.
apparent you were missing things?
You're not really. It's just.
I wouldn't say I'm missing it.
Well, maybe.
Is this in continuity or is this standalone?
Yeah, that's
thing.
a great question.
Anyway.
Anyway, moving on. That's a really good question, Ethan.
I know,
So
I'm always gonna ask
spine-tingling-
that question.
So
Yeah, most people do. Does this matter?
Right.
it could.
All stories do, really.
It could.
Okay.
It could.
But it doesn't.
Well, like,
All right.
Aunt May doesn't die in it or anything, I
Right.
No.
Is anyone horribly scarred in a way that like they'd never actually be able to recover from? but they
Possibly
do?
the reader.
I mean, like maybe on their mind,
Yeah. Okay.
but
Okay.
like you know.
But not like Harry Osborn's face in Spider-Man 3 that clearly indicates that he will die by the end of Act 3 because no A-list actor at the time is going to allow for his character to have a hideously deformed face, and it subtly indicates to the viewer that that character is not long for this earth.
Right. No.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
But there are some things that like you.
Spoilers.
Yes, I'm sorry. A writer in the future might want to pick up something from this or not. It's totally up to them. That's kind of what this is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, like with Spider-Man, that's always the case. There's always this weird, like, I cite a Charles Vess Spider-Man story where it's like, what the hell was that?
Right.
Does that count?
Yeah.
And they're like, sure.
Here's what I also love about this book is that Sal technically read like one
I did.
issue.
I read issue 1.
And then I was like, stop reading this because we might do this.
I was like, no problem.
How rare is it that I get to do a Spider-Man story with Sal on the couch?
And I have
script.
virtually no context, especially since issue 0 is 3 times the length of the first issue.
Exactly. But for me, I'm like, no matter what, he'll still have context. It doesn't matter.
Well, I know Spider-Man.
Because he knows
Yeah.
Spider-Man inside
Yeah.
and out. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, even
So I'll just
like,
be complaining
even if he
about all
doesn't
things that
know-
wouldn't work.
Yeah, even though he doesn't know the story, he's just gonna be like,
Oh, well, I know what Peter would do. And
It
maybe
ain't that.
call it an amendment.
And what version of Peter are we at here? He's unmarried, is modern, current,
Yes.
or current as of whenever this was written?
Yes. The 1 through 4 came out in like 2023.
Okay.
October-ish, spooky time. And it's always like interesting when they launch a monthly book in October that's supposed to be spooky. And I'm like, yes, but now that spooky book will roll into the other months, and not everybody is down for that. I
Spooky
am.
December.
I am. I always am. But I always wonder about that. I'm like, is it better for it to be like in the midst of it? Is it better?
Right, should it end on Halloween?
Like, should it start
Right.
in like late August and then be like September, October, and like be spooky and then wrap up in
I think
December?
it should start in October. I think like late summer. No one's feeling like fall, you know?
Yeah, you
Just
got to
read
get
that
people
Spider-Man.
into it.
Spine-Tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather to read a comic with you.
Okay, I was like, what is he doing?
That's what happens to the book. It spills over to the holidays.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
They just adapt.
I should also note that because the 0 issue was a digital first, you have to remember that that means that it was designed initially for a digital space. So a lot of vertical stuff. That said, Ferreira, my understanding is he went back and he redid the page, like
Oh,
he
wow.
moved all the pages around and like laid it out to make sense for this book.
Okay.
And I have to really tip my hat to him for that one, because there are some panels in there where it's like I can clearly see what he did. I have not seen the digital version of it before.
Recently?
Like, no, I meant like just the digital iteration of it on their site for Marvel Unlimited. But I kind of get an idea of how he handled certain things. It's pretty smart. It's
Yeah.
pretty well done. And honestly, having it have a vertical nature, you get to see a lot of different panel styles in this and a lot of different action. So anyway, let's jump into it.
Do you think maybe one of the reasons it's so long is because it was a vertical format that he had to then like change over?
I think it's also because of the fact that it's just a digital format, and like sometimes if it does well enough, they get printed, and sometimes they don't.
And because it's digital, they didn't have like a page count.
Yeah,
So it's
they,
like, yeah, of course the first issue's long.
yeah,
Right.
it's like oops.
It's as many pages as I want
Yeah.
to tell the story I want to tell.
Yeah.
So Peter is in a dream sequence and he hears a song, right?
It's not my song that I just sang, was it?
No. It's close your eyes, go to sleep.
Oh.
The man with the knife cuts down the sheep. He slaughters the lamb, he slaughters the ewe. Close your eyes, he'll cut you down too. And it goes on from there. Now, if you're wondering what that sounds like, don't worry.
Oh, good. You
One
haven't?
did it.
Yeah, we'll have it linked somewhere so you can listen to it yourselves. I'm just afraid that we're going to get a copyright strike
Yeah.
if we put it in there.
YouTube is so fun.
So just imagine what we all just listened to.
Yeah.
Creator paradise.
Peter reacts to the song where he's just like he hears it and he's like, it is so loud I can't think of literally anything else. It's
Okay.
like, you know, we've all been in that situation where there's been like something going on or an annoying sound and literally your brain is just fixated on that.
earworm, yeah.
Yeah. And so like he's trying desperately to get away from it, and he sees like off in the distance this like doorway made of light potentially, and he starts climbing for it, and this is where we start to see the vertical nature of it.
Sure.
But how Ferreira clearly has relayed this out.
Yeah, that's fun. It's
Right?
more
And-
chaotic.
And I love the fact he uses like this red background color to kind of let you know where we're meant to start. Like
Yes.
you go here, you know what I mean?
And maybe to indicate, like, this is how those panels were originally arranged.
Yeah, exactly. As he's climbing, his pajamas, which, you know, eerily look like Ben's right now.
Yeah, they do.
Like Dadgulas.
Yeah. Random.
Wow. I see we have good taste.
Yeah, at least on
wonder
the bottom.
If those are canonically Peter's
PJs.
PJs. Where's the classic striped
Stripy
blue
br-
PJs
yeah.
that nobody
That's
wears?
great. You could be
'Cause he's a
Spine-Tingling Spider-Man
nerd.
next year.
Because he's a nerd and
He's a
he was
loser.
raised by old people and he doesn't know.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
could just not wear anything.
As he's climbing, you know, they start to fall away, and he's like, "Oh, I'm wearing Spider-Man bottoms." And then, like, a bird comes by and takes
I mean,
his
he kind
shirt
of always
away.
does.
His bird takes my shirt.
And the bird takes my shirt, and then, like, he wakes up, and
Yeah,
he's
that
just
sounds like a dream.
And he
Yeah.
remembers who he is. He's like, "I'm Peter Parker." Okay. Right.
Oh, shoot. Again. All right.
Well, no, because like he's like, I can't even remember my name. Like that's how much.
That's how
this,
much
yeah.
the song addled him. Yeah.
By the way, this is what I'm talking about, like the vertical nature of this.
That's
Like
fun.
you don't get to see something like that normally because our artists aren't normally allowed to have that much page real estate
Yeah,
for that.
there's
But
just
it's
no
like
opportunity for
it's
that.
just so fun looking.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
I think Spider-Man lends himself to the vertical nature
Absolutely.
of like a webtoons or in a Marvel Limited kind of book.
Yeah. So as Peter's swinging through the city, somebody has sent robotic henchmen to steal computer components, and so Peter has gone to stop them. If you,
Oh, good. It's like the
Spider-Man Gabe.
mid-2010s again,
yeah,
where the silicone shortage like meant no one could get video cards.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's like, no!
No, I need to update my Photoshop so that
That's
I can
right.
get my pictures of Spider-Man
Oh,
over
sure.
to Jameson.
Yeah, he's not going to play Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's what I was thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
Peter is fighting them, but like he's off his game because
he's
he's
all-
tired, right?
Yeah.
And like
He's all messed up.
he hasn't been
all
sleeping
messed
well.
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
so it's been
song.
going on.
Yeah. And then every once in a while, like the song will creep into his head, like while he's fighting, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta
Dispatch these robots.
gotta pull myself together here and get going."
Oh, and it
And
like
here's my
throws him off
question.
too. Yeah.
Why doesn't he just surrender to his spider sense and let that take care of it for him? Because he could also do that.
I guess because like he's overthinking it, right?
That sounds like Peter.
and also
Yeah,
because like
he can't like vibe.
yeah, like he can't vibe.
vibe.
He's simultaneously like, I gotta solve this because like the components that people are stealing could like, or that are being stolen could hurt people. So I really gotta fix this. But I'm also really tired. And what's up with that song? And blah 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 blah.
I got a lot going on.
Yeah, and like, oh, I'm not doing well, and that's like getting to him.
So he's like
too.
me in the shower. Gotcha.
Like you can do
The voices are
autopilot,
just won't
They
stop.
just
but even
madness.
autopilot when you're exhausted,
It's just-
it's still
It's
lacking.
not great
it's not
because
reliable.
his body's tired
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like inevitably he dispatches the robots and he like tells him, he's like, all right, now it's like sharing time. Like, where did you come from, right? And
I was talking to the robot.
and the robot goes like, I will not tell you, and then curses at him.
You dick.
Thank you for doing robot voice.
Yeah, I will not tell you. So Peter realizes that the weapons they were using have like a serial number, and maybe he can track them down from there. And so like the cops arrive, and like he's like, all right, the song's out of my head, awesome. Back to web swinging, back to looking awesome.
You're gonna make futuristic sci-fi weapons. Don't serialize them.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Well, they
File them
did.
off at least.
Well, it implies it came from a legitimate company,
Yeah.
maybe, because it's been
Like
legitimate
misappropriated,
business.
perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as he's swinging along, he hears a woman's cries from the street below, like, help, someone call 911, Spider-Man lands, and she's like, Spider-Man, my son collapsed, please help him. And he's like, all right, cool. And then the kid is like singing the song.
Oh.
And like his eyes are all rolled back at his
Why are you
head.
singing that song?
Right? And so like Peter like starts to like drift into that dream world again.
Yeah.
And the woman's standing there like, Spider-Man,
What are you doing?
could you help me?
Yeah.
And
Why
he's
are you
like,
freaking
yeah,
out?
like, because he can't even
can't cut through
focus. And he's like, I'm sorry, wait, what happened? What happened? She's like, I don't know. Like, he's just been really tired, hasn't been sleeping well.
I love this like experience
wait.
for the regular person on the street is like, oh, Spider-Man is like the worst superhero in the universe. one
Please help me.
One time my kid had like a collapse and he just kind of like just kind of stroked off and he like asked me for context for where we were and
Yeah.
what we were working on and I was just like, is Captain America anywhere near here, please?
Can
Can I
anyone
get
else?
someone who's not like high to
Yeah,
help
like-
me?
Yeah.
Are you
or-
all right?
No, man, I'm not all
That
right.
image of him just being like, oh, just a second.
He's gonna- he's like,
okay, hang on. I'm
Nice
pulling-
work, Ferreira.
All right,
by
I
the
guess
way.
someone
Right?
will just call 911.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, so what happened, Spider-Man? Well, you know, so eventually the lady went off and someone called 911.
So someone does call 911, and Spider-Man, while he's talking to her, is just like, where did he hear that song?
She's like, what? That is not a pressing issue.
She's
right
like,
now."
I assumed
Like,
it was
who
something
cares?
viral, like online. Like, I assume he heard it there. I don't
You
know.
watch the tape.
Right. Never watched tape.
Never watch the tape.
Never
These
watched
black
it.
line takes are bad for you.
This is 2023.
Yeah.
He's not watching a tape.
I mean, I think
little
that
danger
would
of that.
make it.
More interesting.
Yeah, and actually,
More
it could
tantalizing.
be because like that's a retro media now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
so that could be even
Oh.
worse.
Yeah, maybe he'll listen to
Ring
an audio
2.0.
cassette.
Oh, yeah, it's
Because audio
audio, because
cassettes
it's,
are
it's
coming back.
auditory.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's
You're
cassette
gesturing
tape.
with those freaking hands.
You mean his totally
You
normal
mean my normal
hands?
hands? The
Oh,
hands
yeah.
that I would
Because his
always
costume
have?
is that he's a Viking.
Yeah, because your costume is that you actually are a different version of Ethan from another reality, and the rest of us are wearing costumes.
Yes.
And have weird short fingers.
What would it
which
look
are
like
gross.
if you were a DJ at Halloween?
Oh, you mean like...
Yeah, that's right.
I love everything about this. So Spider-Man's like, all right, so song's still in my head. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna try and figure out where that tech came from. Like, do what Peter Parker does best, right?
Yep.
But like at the end of the day, it's like it leads him nowhere. He's like, it does not help me. Okay, which is great because Ferreira does a really good job of showing Peter Parker just being like, because
Yeah.
he's just like, all right, so the company is like SNS Components. They're based in Houston. They
going there.
haven't reported a theft of their stuff, which means I guess it was purchased.
Right.
So I have nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Well, you could look through every buyer of those.
Right.
If you could get
If you could get
access
access to that,
Right.
right? So then, like, he's like, I'm hungry because he has also not been really eating. He's getting a food delivery. He's
Okay.
like, where is my food? And he looks outside, and the delivery person has been hit by a car.
oh man.
Oh, my God.
And so, like, Spider-Man crawls out again. I love this
Yes.
panel of him coming down. He's just like crawls out the
Ferrer is
window.
an unexpected artist on Spider-Man, but I'm digging it.
You're digging it, right? Right?
It makes sense that he would do Ninja Turtles next.
Right. Well, here's what's interesting is we'll get to that. Like the style's going to shift in the second issue, but it's still him. It's just that there's been like a change.
shift.
Yeah. Well, he's doing something specific here because like in this, he does like a lot of like mixed media stuff in which he'll do like hand drawing and then digital colors, right? So like for the superhero stuff, he does that, right? But then when we shift into the dream world, he wants to throw in like watercolors and all this stuff and make it more blurry and like whatever, right? So he's doing a lot here that we may not focus on, but you should.
Right.
So anyway, he's just like, the courier's like, I broke my leg and whatever. And he's like, okay, I called 911. Spider-Man does it this time. And he's like, well, like,
But do you have my food?
Yeah,
he's
where's
like,
my
forget
food?
the ambulance. He's like, I gotta make my deliveries. My family's counting on this money. And Spider-Man's
Oh
like, don't
my
worry,
God.
I'll handle the deliveries. And I was like, that's such a, like, for Sal, a Peter Parker thing
Yeah,
to do.
that's something.
Yeah.
I'll
Or
handle the deliveries, what? Until he's healed? That could be months.
no,
no, at least
I'm
for
gonna handle
tonight.
it for tonight, and then you
Yeah.
can figure something out from here.
Yeah. Like, he broke his leg, basically.
It's
so,
called workman's comp.
yeah.
Like, no,
but-
I'll be fired if I don't get these
dude,
deliveries
he works
finished.
like DoorDash. There ain't no workman's comp.
Exactly. So we get to see Spider-Man like swing all over the place, make all the deliveries.
All right, great.
And then like he's
Good
like,
video game subplot.
he's like, the last food I have
Is for me.
is mine. And he's like, I'm gonna take my sesame noodles to the park and I'm gonna enjoy them.
Why
so
would
he
he do that?
sits in the park and he's enjoying his noodles.
Also,
and all of
he's
a sudden,
flipping around the city. People are getting pizzas. They're like, this is all
Ruined.
messed up inside. The cheese is all in the box.
Listen,
Yeah.
you got a hand delivery from Spider-Man. You're welcome.
You're the worst Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know.
ask that lady. So Peter's like sitting on the bench and all of a sudden he hears the music and he starts to like kind of drift off and like his eyes get all like crazy. He's like, no!
My noodles.
Ran into the kid.
It's like, Denver, the last dinosaur.
I just need something else to drown
Force
it
it
out.
out.
Well, he's also like, now he's starting like, he's like, maybe I shouldn't go to sleep.
Right.
So he's like,
Oh,
no!
it'll
I
get
should
me.
never sleep again.
So like there's someone like starts like walking out of the darkness
Yeah,
and
it's
they're
George
like
Lucas.
and they're like whistling and it's like it sounds like the tune
Is it
and
the
like
tune? Oh.
Peter like
The
grabs
why?
her. He's like, what song is that? And she's like, it's the Beatles. It's just some old woman. And he's like, no, it's not. No, I know that song. So he's like harassing this woman.
Yeah, no.
And this big dude shows up and it's like, what's your problem, bro?
Hey, leave the lady alone, man.
And he's like, whoa, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go. Like, so Peter's having a real hard time of it because he's
Yeah.
tired, right?
He's having a freak out.
Right.
Yeah, he is freaking out.
So like he starts walking home. He's exhausted. I think we've all kind of been there. Where
Oh,
we've
yeah.
had like one too many late nights in a row, where it's just like you have this like you're moving, you're doing things, but like you recognize you feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah,
like
you
you
You feel like
just
you're
like
gonna die, and you also don't realize you're home until you're home. And you're like, wow, I don't remember getting here.
yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
I operated a vehicle.
Yep.
So as he's walking along, people's like phones start freaking out, including his own. Mm-hmm. And like this is the moment for me where I've never felt more connected to Peter Parker. I feel sure I'll die if I can't just lay my head down for a few hours, just a few. And I'm like, yep.
It's also
Yeah.
definitively Peter Parker. He's like that most of the time.
Yeah, he's just like, okay. Picks out the phone, looks at it. There's like a person on there.
Yeah, like a
right?
guy just
Yeah, and
on
it's
it.
Spencer Smythe.
Oh, all right. Robots. Mhm.
Yep.
Who's Spencer
Spencer, he's
Smythe?
dead.
Well, no, he's
Oh,
not.
well, maybe this is a message from beyond the grave.
Spencer
that
Smythe is.
again.
Good use of hot dog fingers.
From beyond the grave.
Listen, I have laid a whole bunch of explosives throughout the city, throughout Manhattan. If Spider-Man doesn't follow my directions, and I'll start detonating them within the next hour.
Right. And he's like, how did you get this number?
Right. Well, everybody gets it.
Oh, it went to everybody,
Phones
okay,
gets
yeah.
it, right?
Everybody or everyone who's hearing the song?
Oh.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody getting this,
Can you imagine getting that?
right?
Which one is Spencer Smythe? Let me check my Marvel cards,
Am I in
which are in
danger?
canon in this universe.
Yes.
What's his power set?
Oh, his intelligence is only a 5.
He created the Spider Slayers.
Yeah, that's why it's only a 5.
Right.
Out of 7.
So Peter is in the dream world again.
Yes.
Right? And like someone's there and they're singing the song at him. And then like we see like Spider-Man starting to break through.
Oh, I like that.
Right? It's a really cool image. And then we see Spider-Man, he's like, I fell asleep on my feet.
Oof.
What happened?
Look at him. Look at that poster I need.
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Awesome.
And like, so Peter's like, but I got to keep going. I got to get there. I got to make sure that like nobody gets hurt. I got to make sure that these
not only
explosives
fell
don't
asleep
happen.
on his feet, but he's also now in his Spider-Man
Right.
costume, which he was not before.
Yeah. He's
Which
like,
would have been a great opportunity to retcon this into the past when he was using the symbiote, which also puppeted his body. But this is fun because it's like his dreams are puppeting his body.
Right.
Or he is
Right.
unconsciously.
so he's like, Spencer Smythe like wanted me dead.
Yes.
So okay.
I guess he's the robot guy.
Yeah, he's like, that's all he's ever wanted, so let's see what he's up to. So Peter, swings away, crashes through a window, climbs up some buildings, right?
And maybe I'll luck out and he'll kill me.
right? Like, and then
I can
I'm,
go to
And then I'll
sleep.
be able to sleep.
and thank God. So he
They always
arrives.
say you can sleep when you're dead.
So that's it, Peter. So he arrives. There's a hallway. There's some robots in it. We obviously all know that those robots are going to attack him because we've played a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smythe is on a big screen, a la The Wizard of Oz. And essentially, he's like, because Peter is just like not okay.
Right. He's like, what's your problem, man?
Right? And he's like, are you this dense? He's like, there weren't any bombs. I just needed you to get here.
Oh.
It's like, oh my god, you fell for that whole, like, this is a danger
Wow,
thing.
really? Okay.
I'm not a monster,
Yeah.
Peter.
I
Or
built
Spider-Man.
yeah.
I built spider slayers, not
Yeah.
regular people slayers.
Exactly. So he calls forth his spider slayers, which
Also-
look like the robots from before. So
They
I
look
guess
great.
Spider Slayer should not look like a spider. It should be like a blue jay or something.
Spider
No, it's a
slayers
spider
often
that
look like
slays.
spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the 90s into the 2000s version of Spider Slayers.
It's not meant to
Listen.
slay Spider-Man.
They look better than they used to. The first Spider Slayers looked like hot garbage with a little TV on them that
these are
allowed
like-
J. Jonah Jameson to yell at Spider-Man while they were attacking.
These are legitimately creepy.
I love them.
They look like bugs.
pretty
I'm
They look
not
dope.
a fan.
They look cool.
Yeah.
They look like either they were designed by Aperture Labs.
Yeah.
I love the front of them that looks like a fountain pen.
Yeah, a little bit. Right
Yeah.
there. That's where
No, they
the
look great.
That's where the webs come out. I know it's supposed to come out the butt, but
Yeah,
obviously.
fine.
Anyway, Peter has this great moment where he's just like, I knew something like this was coming. Like,
Yeah, of course. I'm fighting Alistair Smythe.
I should have known. But Peter recognizes that these robots have like an upgrade for their armor, right? And like he like goes to punch them, and it's just like clong. And he's like,
Oh.
okay. He's like,
not good.
the lack of sleep's catching up to me. I'm moving too slowly, and so they start kind of getting the upper hand, right? And he's like, their reflexes are basically as fast as mine, except I'm tired.
Right, and I'm not, and I'm made of organic matter.
So he comes up with like a plan. He's like, I got to time this just right, otherwise it is not going to work. Just like this glove is not going to work.
Timing this just right is Spider-Man's I've just got to run a little faster.
Exactly. So he like ping pongs all around, and then essentially what he does, he lands in between them and he cartoons his way out of it by like jumping out, and they shoot each other, thus destroying them. Smythe reveals himself, and like.
He comes out of smoke, so
Yeah, Peter Parker. Well,
might not even be
it's
there.
from the like explosion.
Yeah,
it comes
that's
from
fine.
there,
Comes
and he's
out
like,
of the
"Hola!" And then like he webs him up, and he breaks the webs, and he's like, "Okay." He makes fun of him. He's like, "You taking some like old people
been
drugs,
juicing?"
like." That I keep getting all these ads for. And so Peter's like, all right, let's fight. And he like punches him.
but like,
It's like,
But he
hard.
really
way
punches
too
it.
hard.
man,
First
man.
of all,
I was just fighting Spider Slayers. I'm still at that level.
I don't know if that's because he's tired or what.
He's
That
tired,
was
so he
tired.
accidentally murders
yeah,
somebody.
Right,
he
so-
knocks his block off.
His head comes flying off, and Peter's like, ah, and he's like, oh, thank God, it's just a robot.
You know
Is
how
it-
many times I've
is
had a
it-
close call,
Yeah.
right? Or is the man
Right? No, he's
sold
like,
in
he's
there?
like, are you kidding me? He's like, all right, come out, Smythe. Where are you?
Yeah.
And he goes through another room, and what does he find? But like Smythe, but like an old man, like just sitting there, and he's singing the song.
No!
And Peter's like, okay, snap out of it, wake up, what is going on? He's like, I'm very confused. Is he having the same dream I've been having? And then Smythe opens his mouth, and like Ferrera has this thing about mouths, and you're gonna see it throughout this whole book, and it's like real, like where when you open your mouth, it's like your gum or your top jaw just kind of falls down forward.
No. They
like
don't.
way too much.
That is not what happens.
It's a lot, but it does here. And like as you open your mouth, like, we saw the kid. There was like something coming out of his mouth,
Yes.
and it's like little smoky hands that were coming out of his mouth, right? And like Peter recognizes that it's like
Trying to get
Smythe. Yeah, but that, like Smythe has been like possessed by the song.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh,
like,
thank
what
God.
is
I thought
happening?
that's where we got the
And it-
Hillshire Farm smoky flavor from. Those little hands that caress each sausage.
Those are
All
his,
those packages
in
bacon.
his world.
Yeah.
So it like the hands take bigger shape and like grab Peter,
Ugh.
and he's like, you'd think it would like be really uncomfortable, but it's like it's as gentle as falling asleep, being squeezed by them.
Oh, that's creepy as hell.
I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, he's like, it should hurt, but it, like I just
But I actually
like-
welcome it.
yeah. And,
It's
and
actually
I,
the coziest thing in the world.
yeah, and when I wake up, he's like someplace, and it's like a freaking nightmare. And this is where we see Ferreira playing with the art, going a little more like it's loose. We don't have the tight line anymore, right? And he's like, okay. And as he's wandering along, first of all, he's like, I don't know where I am. He makes a, I must have taken a wrong turn at joke. And then he hears someone screaming. It sounds like the same kid who was singing earlier.
Oh no.
He's like, I don't know why he's even here. So he just starts running. But as he realizes he's running, he realizes he's like not getting anywhere. Like
Right.
he just
And
keeps
also, I don't
running.
know where I am. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
And then he hears
Oh,
someone.
but I'm naked.
And then he hears another scream, and he's like, uh-oh, I know that voice. He's like, no. And he starts running towards it, right? So he finds this tower, and there's this thing, this shrouded, creepy wraith creature with a knife and crazy hands, and he's holding someone. And who is he holding? It's Aunt May.
Oh no! I was like, who's it gonna be?
It's the only woman he loves.
It's Aunt May. And so
Now.
he's just like, let her go. I don't know who you are, but like, not. And he's like,
Well, I mean, like, obviously they're evoking the image of death. It's like
Yes.
he's afraid of Aunt May dying.
Yes.
This is a visual of
Which
death
she
taking Aunt
is
May
going
away
to
from
any
him.
day now.
Except,
so fucking old.
except this thing flicks Peter away because he's huge. He just uses his
Yeah.
little finger, bink, and he goes like, "You're still too strong, not ready yet."
Aunt May is too strong.
No, what?
Peter's too strong.
Peter's too strong.
What? No.
What? No.
Okay.
As we
Yeah,
all
he's
know,
like,
she's the
I-
most powerful creature or being in the Marvel
She's
universe.
unkillable.
Yeah, it's those wheat cakes.
They are.
And
pretty
so, like,
hardy.
he starts falling like you might in a dream, and I love this. Like,
Yeah, look at that, using that good negative space.
just falling and falling and falling.
Oh, and the colors trailing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dope.
And then he wakes up, and
It's
he's
like, I
in the,
haven't worn you down enough yet.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's back in the real world. He's like, oh my god, okay, Smythe is here. He's
still
still out of
singing.
it. And then he just stops singing, and Peter's like, no!
Oh, because he died.
it.
And he's like, the song killed him. Okay, wait. If the song killed him, and it has Aunt May, end of chapter 4. Because this is a chapter.
Oh, right, of course.
So Peter is swinging through the city as fast as
hauling
humanly
ass
possible.
Aunt May.
He lands on the roof of her building.
He's like busting through billboards.
And then just gets changed as fast as he can.
Right.
And goes downstairs, and what does he find but Aunt May, and she's out of it just like Smythe was, and she's singing, and like the stuff's coming out of her
Yeah,
mouth
smoke
and
coming out of
everything,
her
and it's
mouth.
trying to pull him in. And like Peter just loses it. He's just like, let her go, like you can't have her. He starts thrashing around. And then like something changes as he goes into the dream, and he's a little boy. He's like little Peter Parker. And he's just yelling for Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And he's like, I'm lost. And he hears music. And like the thing's like, oh, like, yeah, like it's like, oh, you're almost there. You're ready for it,
I
right?
haven't really, yeah. I'm pecking away at you.
And like,
I like that.
Look at that. Look at that image of
it's
it. Like,
so like of it like holding Aunt May
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
little
Almost like a
Peter.
marionette.
Yeah. And he's like, she can't. Yeah, she can't hear you. All she can hear is a song, so she can't help you. But like inevitably, Aunt May like
oh,
does wake up. Yeah, isn't that really like cool looking?
so creepy.
Yeah, like all these things come out of its like shroud and come for Peter. And Aunt May's like, Peter, those boys are bullies, Peter. You're stronger than they'll ever be. And I'm proud of you every day. And so like little Peter Parker stands up and he's like, you leave Aunt May alone. And you see like
Spider-Man,
this.
comes out of
Yes.
it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't
What
that
a great visual.
Right? Really good visuals in this
Yeah.
book.
These are all
Yeah.
pages
Yeah.
we're gonna have to go to his booth and see if he owns.
Yes, of course, of course. And it's like, no, all right, you ruined everything. Be gone. And he kicks Aunt May out.
Okay.
It's like,
Like,
you didn't do what I was hoping you'd do.
Normally, when I take people's elderly family,
Yeah.
it usually
They
them
succumb
against them
to
and
it.
they succumb.
Right,
But like,
they're
Exactly.
I
stricken
didn't
by
know these
fear.
Parkers are
And,
so hardy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, especially this one. And so like as Peter's like hugging Aunt May, because she's like,
Like, what the hell happened to me?
yeah, he thinks back to the tower and he's like, I've seen that before. And he's like, I know we're gonna end this. It's time. And we've named this thing now. Peter calls it the Sleep Stealer.
Okay. Good
Okay.
name.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
And so what Peter recognizes that there's just like this new building, this new like high-rise luxury apartment building that was built. And like when he thought back on the architecture of this building compared to the thing he saw, he's like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so he goes on over there, he's looking up and he sees like one person looking down at him. And like he can feel something inside of him looking at him. And so he's like, all right, here I go. Looking pretty
That
great.
shadowy figure. I'm going to beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
It's got to be that guy.
First, I'll stop with the Sanctum and I'll get Doc Strange, and then the two of us will solve this. But no, I'll just deal with myself.
No, I'm just going to go punch him.
We're just gonna go punch him. So he lands up there, and like the guy's like, Spider-Man, you're here. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's you? You're the one doing this? He's like,
you.
he's like, hi, I'm Paul.
Oh no! The worst.
Paul is not who you think it is.
It's not the Paul.
because
that we
this
hate.
Paul was invented in 2021 when this book came out, or when this story came out.
Who do you know who's Paul?
He's from the 2022 Zeb Wells run, who ruined everything.
Oh.
But this is a totally different Paul.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate choice of name.
Yeah, because
Okay.
Paul also has like a morphing face throughout the run because no one can pin down what Paul's character model is.
Maybe they'll just say he's also the Sleep Stealer.
Yeah, no, I mean I still have my theory about Paul.
Okay.
Did you say Salsa, the sleep stealer?
No, that he's also the Sleep.
He's also.
That he's Salsa, the Sleep Stealer.
Oh, that heartburn's gonna get you.
So
I was
anyway,
gonna say, are the girders of this building made of selenium?
Peter just goes, okay.
Right, like okay, so
Hi,
you're
Paul.
some guy with an innocuous name.
Yeah, he's just
or
like,
a horribly deep and frustrating name.
yeah, it's
Everyone's got a name, man.
completely up to you. So essentially, he's just like, I used to be a loser, but then I heard the song and it chose me.
Oh.
He's like, and that, like, you know, that it taught me to reach in other people's dreams to steal their strength. And like, you know, I've just been doing that, but like now it wants, like now you want to take my power away, and I'm not gonna let you do that. And then we watch him just melt into the wraith we saw
stealer.
earlier, and it's really gross. I'm telling you, Forever's got a whole thing about mouths.
Yeah, he
Yep.
does.
Yep.
Well, you know,
His chin just dissolves into.
gums
into
and
all sorts of
roots.
stuff. And like Peter has this moment where he's like, I'm relieved when he attacks. I'm almost relieved that when he attacks, because like
Now I can actually punch him instead
Yeah,
of
he's
fighting
just
him.
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
in the physical world.
But, like,
something in
yes.
me that wants to punch a Paul.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Got one to punch
Maybe
in
I'll
the
figure it out in a
faces.
year or two.
This sequence rules.
It rules.
It rules. Peter is like going up the side of the building while this thing is chasing him, like taking its giant knife and shattering the glass that's in there.
Nice.
And we see Peter going up it, and then we see the thing following it, but we're on the inside of the building looking
So we're
at
seeing
it.
it like.
And I'm like,
no.
that's really horrible.
Oh,
it
you can
reminds
see
me
it's like
of,
crazy rib cage.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Great, you can hear it like. Brrrr up the.
Yeah. That is creepy.
The night something, Michael J. Fox movie, Frighteners.
Oh.
Reminds me of the Frighteners.
Yeah.
So they have like a somewhat rooftop, gorgeous. I mean, it's a gorgeous rooftop.
Sure.
I hate all of you. That all these rich people. Anyway,
I don't want to live there.
It kind of reminds me of the High Line.
Yes, it does.
yeah.
That might be.
Yeah,
kind of
right. Maybe
inspired
that's
that.
what. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that high up.
Oh,
but
no,
the
that's-
same concept.
That's
You wanna point it out to me
Oh
again?
yeah, this
Yeah.
right here. And
I was gonna say you were looking for a lot of opportunities to point.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've only done that 2 times.
So,
Maybe 3.
First of all,
so Peter like gives like Paul a hard time, where he's just like, you must be pretty new to the supervillain thing. Like you seem
gotta
kind of rough
disarm him a
about it,
little bit
right?
with his,
But then like it starts freaking out and like, no, he's gonna take it all away from me. Help me. Help. And then we just see Paul melt away, like entirely.
nice.
And I'm like, is
Ew.
Paul crying for help? Was
Or-
it like what?
I think whoever's
Uh-oh.
pulling the
Used him
strings
up.
is like, I'm done with this guy.
Yeah. And
Paul's
so,
like, no, don't be done
no,
with me.
No, don't be done with me. And so then Peter melts into the dream world. And like we see him like being grabbed by something, and we see the actual form of the sleep stealer.
Nice.
Oh, it's Nightmare
Whoa.
Batman. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
This guy's dope.
Okay.
Isn't he dope looking?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what Barbados wishes he looked like.
I thought that top right half was like almost a wolf mouth howling into the movie.
It is just another mouth. He's like a nightmare being. You would fight this in Elden Ring and you'd hate it. So then we see that Peter is just like locked up.
Right.
And he has been. Like, he doesn't know how long he's been there. He's
How
just like,
conventional.
right? He's like, this has happened to me. I obviously, like, I've been caught before, whatever. Like, and I always have a quip ready, but, like, I just don't right now. Like, I'm really,
tired, not in the
I'm
mood.
tired and I'm scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a total, like, nightmare, right? Like, he's in this thing, he's stuck there, and then inevitably something comes and feeds on him. It's broken him down enough.
Okay.
And so it like just takes Spider-Man's strength, and then it spits him out and just leaves him in the dream world.
Okay.
And he starts like walking, and inevitably he starts running into people, like the child from earlier, right? And like as he's wandering, like the kid's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man!" And he's like, "For a moment, I'm certain I'm not Spider-Man." And then he looks at the kid, and he's just like, "And I remember myself."
Right.
And I'm like, "Dope.
Yeah.
All
And
right."
the costume comes back. That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, because he's in a dream world, so it's fine. So all these people like start crawling out of the woodwork, and he's like, their pain terrifies me. I have to help them. And this is the only part where I'm just kind of like, this line's kind of stupid, because Saladin Ahmed has this real thing about like Peter's responsibility. We're going to see that like reference in both books, and I'm like, it's more or less hope is really what they need, because he's just like, I remember that there's something bigger than any fear, and he's like, responsibility. I'm like,
Nope.
I guess.
I guess for Spider-Man, he's overcome his fear because he has responsibility
He
to
has
these
so
people.
much responsibility.
Yeah.
I can't even be afraid because I'm just so like
Responsible.
Exactly. with guilt.
So he has like a big, emotional, like a
moment.
hero moment where he gives them a big speech where he's just like, here, I've been on all sorts of crazy adventures with Doctor Strange. If I know anything about these places, is that your willpower is what's going to control it. So like, just you're not like regular people, you're warriors. And so like, as he starts like doing it, they start to change and like literally turn into like warriors, right?
Yeah, with swords
And then
and shit.
this dude shows up and he's singing, and Spider-Man's like, oh god, no.
Yeah. No.
And
Hey, can I have a tank? No. Swords and shields.
Yeah, that's it.
Damn it.
And so, like, as he's singing, he starts corrupting the warriors and turning them into extensions of himself. And like, Spider-Man's like, please, like, no, come on, man.
People alone.
It's like I control dreams and shit. Like you thought that this was something you were gonna control.
Yeah, like, I'm
that's
sorry,
not
I'm
how
like,
this works.
the king here. Get back.
You're in my world now, bitch.
Basically that.
It's 3 episodes now. In a row.
For 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Of what?
Playtime.
They don't want to be in your world.
So they're all like dogpiling on Peter. They're kicking the crap out of him.
Spider-Man.
And then like 2 of them like are like, wait, Spider-Man, I can help you, and they like are able to pull away from
Yeah.
him, right? And he's like, you're not monsters, everybody. They're not monsters, they're my neighbors, because I'm the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? It's like Peter like walks through them, like touches them, and they like remember who they are, and they kind of become for a second like spider warriors,
that's fun.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a neat idea that I'm sure only lasts 2 pages.
It's like, yeah, literally that. And so then they all like charge him, and we can see again like the vertical nature. I'm sure this was
This is
differently.
flipped, yeah.
But
That's
he
cool.
reoriented the like balloons, I think, probably to make
Had
it fit
to.
for this.
Yeah.
Because they're just climbing up the side of him because he's like, the sleep stealer's huge.
So big. This is really cool.
Right? So they climb up the side of him, and somehow, like, as Peter's doing this, he's like, I was trying to empower them, but me seeing them empowered empowers me.
Yes.
And it's enough. And so he makes up to the top, and they, like, punch him or kill him or whatever. And, like, it's a dream, so it's like,
Yeah.
whatever. And so everybody's
They
released.
shattered his hold on them.
We're gonna wake him up.
Right, and Peter is back in like New York, back on the rooftop, and he's just like, oh, "Cool, I'm tired.
Right.
So that was pretty messed up.
That was a lot.
Still exhausted.
I'm gonna go home. It's over. Yay for me." He's like, he realizes that like everyone's like safe, but like they're not sound just yet because it's
Yeah.
gonna take everybody a while to get over that.
Sure.
Like everyone who's
Yeah.
trapped there.
This is a great thing for me not to tell my therapist about.
Right, right.
It's a good thing for me to tell my nobody.
Right, and then essentially they're like, let's not kill Spencer Smythe, who Sal thought was dead anyway. So like Peter's like on his laptop at home, and he's like looking at it.
He's
And
Googling really quick.
he's like
Oh, he's got a
he
LinkedIn
looks it
profile.
up that like the cops found him, and he was just in a catatonic state.
Okay.
So he didn't die, and he's like, oh, that's great.
Kinda
That
like in
means like,
Seven.
but that's like great for him too, because he realizes that like everybody involved made it out then.
Right.
Yes.
He made it out.
Even Spencer Smythe didn't die.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a victory for
And so then
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man like just disrobes and then just lays in bed, and he starts falling asleep, and then he hears the music again.
No!
What he thinks is the music for a second. So it's just something that's gonna haunt him for a while.
Oh, it's just the ice cream man.
Yep.
So now let's actually get into the other Spine-Tingling Spider-Man book that's in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a whole other one.
So that was the 0 issue.
That's the 0 issue.
Son of a
Okay.
bitch.
And is it related at all to?
So let's
I
talk
assume-
about that. Let's figure it
Oh,
out,
no.
right? So
Oh,
like,
okay, all
so
right.
like this comes out 2023, right? So here we are.
Let's go forward. Let's go forward.
Let's go forward. We start off with a fight between Spider-Side and Spider-Man.
Who's Spider-Side?
Spider-Side is one of the many clones that the Jackal created.
Oh, is
Yep.
he? When did he get created?
1995.
Oh, why don't I remember him?
Because it was a footnote in history.
Well, here
But
he
they
is.
brought him back a lot, like especially around this era. Like Spider-Side is some people's favorite version of Spider-Man because he's so goofy and
Well, 'cause-
he
What's
looks
his
like
deal?
Spider. He's a clone that has the skin of Spider-Man's
He looks like
costume.
Wreck
But has a
Rap.
mouth.
Yeah, he does look like Wreck Rap. Only Wreck Rap sucks, and Spider-Side sucks a little less.
Yeah. So Spider-Side looks like to me like if like the Image like McFarlane era of Spider-Man never stopped, and
Yeah.
that's where we got to was this.
Yeah, or like they were just like, can you make more Venoms?
Because it's like he's
Yeah,
a
but with a
Spider-Man.
normal mouth.
He has like no lips necessarily, and he certainly has no nose of any kind. Anyway, there's a big fight.
But he's fighting Spider-Side right now.
Yep, and which I love this moment because like Spider-Man goes like, I thought he was dead up until he showed up to kill me.
He's always almost dead.
Yeah.
And so they have like a fight on the rooftop for hours and hours, and inevitably like Spider-Man gets the upper hand.
You should just kill him. You thought he was dead anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
He
can't
is a
do that.
living
Yeah, but Spider-Man
man.
doesn't kill.
Right.
That's very true.
And so like Spidey is like, all right, cool. He calls the folks to pick him up, and then
The folks.
the folks. I don't know where he's
It's like
going.
there's no shield anymore, so it's like, what do you call?
Like
Right.
the police.
Oh yeah. We're only dealing with aliens.
Aren't you not supposed to tell us that?
Oh.
Anyway.
We don't deal with aliens. No one does. Goodbye.
There's aliens?
No.
No.
All right. I wasn't here. Bye.
You weren't where?
Who wasn't here?
So Peter has this moment that lets you know that like he's gonna have a really, really hard time. He's
Too
dead.
much, man.
Yeah.
Because Peter like swings through the city and he's like, as I'm swinging through, like, yeah, I've had my fair share of like terrible crap, but I realize what a lucky person I am. People appreciate what I do.
What a weird
People
decision
care
for
about
Spider
me.
side in this book.
No,
Right?
they don't.
What the crap?
Like I have a roof over my head. I'm blessed. And he goes to sleep and he wakes up to it's total darkness to us, and it's like the cops going like, all right, buddy, get up nice and slow.
Oh my god.
Like guns drawn, and Peter's
Yikes.
like, hello.
The cops
wearing a different
came
shirt?
into his house
Yeah.
while he was sleeping?
Yeah, he's like, how may I help you?
And where's your warrant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's like, whoa, officers, what's up? And they're like, hands where I can see him. And he's
Yeah.
like, okie dokie. And he's just like, what are the police doing with guns drawn in my apartment?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is not your apartment. And like his landlord is there, and he's like, sir, I don't know who you are, but get out. And like Peter's
my
like,
God.
Oswaldo. I love this moment. Like look
Yeah.
at this.
Oswaldo.
Like, Oswaldo.
Come on!
What are you talking about?
this to me?
He's like, you've known me for years, and he's just like, I've never seen this guy before in my life.
That's a great point.
And so
Yeah.
essentially the cops are like, you're a squatter. This apartment is just a model apartment for people to show.
Oh.
So like, here are your options. You're either going to be arrested or you can just leave quietly and we're just going to let it go.
all right, yeah, I'll do
Oh, well, I
that.
guess
I'll
that
take that
one.
second option.
And like Peter's like, but this is, and like, the cops are just like not having it. He's like, I will leave. Here I
Yeah.
go. So he's outside his
All
apartment
right, if
and
this
he's like,
isn't my apartment, I'll just find my apartment.
he's like, what is happening? And so he grabs his phone and he makes a call and he's like, okay, Aunt May, how are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
what's up? And she's like, Aunt May, that's a new one. And so essentially he's like,
been erased.
yes.
This is a universe where he never
She's like,
existed
Aunt
or
May,
he died.
it's Peter. And she's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know a Peter. I haven't got Peter in my life. Like, I don't
Oh.
care if you're Peter, Paul, and Mary. Get out of here. And she's
Okay,
like,
so he
again.
never existed. Yeah.
right? So she hangs up on him, yells at him, hangs up on him. And like, I love, like, look at this, like,
Yeah, he's alone. He's isolated.
Yeah.
He's even without color.
yeah. So
And
he's
then
like,
his
"What
phone
is-"
plan was like, hey, who's paying for this?
Yeah, he's like, what is happening to me? So he's like, okay, all right, I'm really afraid right now. So the only thing I can do is call the one person, even though it's gonna be really awkward and I shouldn't do it, but the person who always gets rid of my fears, I'm gonna call Mary Jane.
Yes.
So he calls Mary Jane.
Trauma
and-
dump on that poor woman.
Yeah, and so she does not pick up. So he's just like, all right, I should let it be.
All right, I'm gonna stalk her. That's perfect.
And he just starts walking, and inevitably he ends up at her apartment.
Right.
He's like,
Oh, how
shouldn't
did I
do
end up
this.
here?
So he's like, hey, MJ. And she's like, yeah.
I love Sacred Hospital.
Right? And he's like, I tried to call you. And she's like, you're the one who called me 7 times?
7.
Yeah, he called like a whole bunch of times on the way over.
What an idiot.
And she's like, are you stalking me? Like, he's like, no, because she calls him Mister. And he's like, wait, Mister? No, it's me, MJ. Don't you know me? And she's like, no. And then all these like people show up and they're like, are you harassing her?
They're like, take a picture
like
of this
what
guy.
never
Let's cancel
happened,
this
yeah.
guy.
Yeah. So like Peter's like, I have to. He just runs away. Like he just literally
Yeah.
Danny catches himself right out of that.
But he doesn't fall into a pile of trash.
No, but he does run into a
Dump?
construction site where there's
Oh,
like
don't do
a
that.
huge hole, and he's like, all right, I'm just gonna lay low. And so he puts his hand on there. He's gonna go in it, and he's like, I have no wall crawling, and he just falls into the hole.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
And he's like, it hurts so much. Like somehow miraculously, I didn't break anything. What's going on? Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call the Avengers. So he calls the Avengers. The Avengers hotline is essentially like,
You're a regular person.
yeah, this number is not authorized to access the priority number. So he's like, okay. So he reaches out to the Fantastic Four, and they're like, nope. And then he
Okay,
gets a
so
text.
he does know the
They're-
real numbers, though.
Yes.
So
Oh,
his
no, they're saved in his
knowledge
phone.
is accurate.
He doesn't know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So then he gets a text that says like, "Do you want your life back?"
Oh.
He's like, "Meet me at Grand Central, track 31,
Right.
midnight."
Sure thing. First, I'm gonna go to Bleecker Street and I'm gonna tell Doc.
Seriously.
Right? But he doesn't.
He'd better. What?
So he
If
just-
he tried to knock on the door, his bones would dissolve out of his body.
He runs on over there. He rides the I guess the subway over or the
Yeah.
bus or whatever.
Like a schnook.
Gets over there, gets to Grand Central, climbs on
People
down,
do this every day.
gets to track 31,
God.
and like he just boards the train. And he's like, I wasn't even thinking straight.
I just got on the train.
I didn't
instinctively.
buy any ticket or anything.
no.
Like I just got on the train.
How'd you get
Same
through the
cops are like,
turnstiles?
oh, look, it's our little old.
He just jumped the turnstile. Oh no, I didn't pay. Yeah, you jumped a turnstile. You knew you didn't pay.
Right,
Yeah,
but
you know what's an
he-
executable offense in New York?
But
This
as
isn't a subway. This is a train.
This is a
You
train.
buy a ticket.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
he's gotta have a
turnstile.
ticket.
Oh, he went to the train
Yeah, so he's
station?
Yeah, that's not the subway.
Grand
that's the
Central.
train.
Grand
Targeted.
Central. So he
Which train is he getting on?
track 31.
To go where? Long Island?
He's
Like, where are you
just-
going?
He's just told to get on there.
Oh,
So he
okay.
does. And so as he gets on there, he's like, the platform seems empty, and so does the train. And then he hears someone like behind him go like,
Oh.
again, it's the mouth thing. It's
Yeah.
he's like
Yeah.
drooling, and he goes like, "You haven't paid your fare." And he's got like a really long,
Mm-hmm.
weird horse neck.
Yeah.
And like he's like all over the place. He says ticket please, and Peter's like, and he's like, and he just says no ticket, no ticket, no ticket.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta tell
Oh,
you,
then he throws him out the window.
repetition in horror is very scary.
Yes.
It can be done really in a, like a
Yeah, the
scary
way you did
way.
it just now scared me
Yeah.
half to death. No, it was creepy.
And he's like really committed to the ticket thing. It's like,
He's got the
you
outfit.
don't care about the ticket, you're a ghoul. Like,
Yeah,
but you
like,
won't let it
that's
go.
so hot. And he's like, but this is my purpose. I
Yeah,
have to do
That's
this.
horrifying.
You don't even care about the ticket. I can see from your massage.
What do I do? And
You
he's
don't
like,
use money or currency like that. Doesn't make any sense.
You're trading bones and souls.
No, the ticket isn't an actual ticket. It's metaphorical.
Yeah.
It's metaphorical.
my ticket is not a real ticket. Anyway,
your tongue.
so he gets like really big, and he also has like a big scary like hammer in his hand.
Oh no.
It just keeps getting worse and worse, and so he just starts bringing it down on Peter.
Yeah.
And like Peter just like
Oh, that's the kind of hammer that you would drive railroad ties in with.
right, and so like
right.
he's like, there are a dozen people out there who want me dead, but this is different.
Yeah,
like I
it
have
is.
been in situations like this. He's like, but my adrenaline is at like 1,000%, and I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have any power.
I have no power, right? And like he's like, my agility is gone, my spider sense isn't working, right? And like I have come to realize this guy is not trying to kill me; he is playing with me. And like
He could kill me. I
Peter
don't know.
is like scared out of his mind.
Yeah.
Right. So he just starts running. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he runs through the train, changes cars, goes in there. There's like two top-hatted gentlemen there who are having a meal. And
Divorce.
and they're like, well, we don't know that yet.
Oh.
So he's like,
You know, you're pointing at.
and they're like, well, up there, they're like, another dinner guest, I wasn't informed. Oh, like obviously they're indicating
Acting
that like
like they're
he'll be the
totally
meal,
normal.
right?
Yeah,
Because
of
there's
course,
like
they're gonna
there's
eat
like
Peter,
human
yeah.
heads on the table and all that stuff, and they're big
yeah.
scary boars and like yeah. So
Lord.
Peter runs out of there too, and he's trying to look out.
Like, well, that wasn't any
He's
better.
like, he's like, okay, I seem to have lost the conductor. Where are we even going? He tries to look out the window. It's just complete blackness, and
Yeah.
he
What the
hell train is
sees
this?
its face.
Yeah, no, it's
the
like,
guy's
hey, what are you looking for? No!
it just slams through the train, like the
Oh.
window.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we see that there are other people on the train now too.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that guy looks like he's the Joker,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're driving a
right?
gangly white
And they're
guy.
all like, and they're essentially, they're all like, you know, all the other passengers are like, he's right behind you. You better run.
You already got us with this horrible hammer.
So Peter in this moment realizes that he's just like, I'm so used to having power to like shrug off wounds like
I don't
this.
have enough responsibility.
Well, he goes like, he's like, I'm not used to actually feeling when I get hurt.
Yeah, no, you have a healing factor.
And how afraid it makes you feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like he makes a run for it. And by the way, this is the point where Ferreira puts a little nod. That's clearly him, and that's
That's
Saladin.
all in man, yeah.
No, that's Paul.
Right?
Yep. He's like, we're here too, Peter. We're the guys who made the book.
Right.
We're souls trapped in this
We're
car. We're not even making the book anymore.
So Peter
the Tallyman's doing it or
Peter
whatever.
again changes train cars and slams the door, and like he hears someone behind him go like, "Hey, mister," and turns around and there's like a little blonde girl. And she's like, "Are you hiding from the good doctor too?" And he's like,
Yes,
"Yes."
save me.
And she's like, "Great, because like he's gonna come back, but like I know a way out." She's like, "By the way, my name's TJ." And he's like, "Hi, TJ, I'm Peter."
I guess.
And she's like,
Sure.
"So essentially, all we have to do is like, there's a hatch, and I can't open it." And so like it's a hatch in the floor, and so Peter's like he tries to open it up, and he's just like, if I had my spider strength, I'd be a lot better at doing this. But like I'm just a guy. But eventually he gets it open. And
God,
it's just
people are so weak.
I was gonna say she's like, no, Peter, it needs something else. And then she stabs him.
no. Literally, he opens the hatch, and he's like, it's just out to the
To nothing.
tracks.
Oh no.
Right.
And they're going really fast. He's
Like, I can't get out this way.
yeah, and she's like, no, we just have to jump out.
No.
And then she does.
Oh no.
Ah.
Like she just leaps out of it. Peter's like, no.
Yep.
And she's just gone.
Okay. Cool.
And like he's like, I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a madhouse.
Like, so he goes to the freezer car, and I'm like, why would you do that, Peter? And there's
going to
just
freezer
like
People on meat
pieces,
hooks.
bodies, like
Yeah.
in there, right? And he
Naturally.
hears like this stomp, 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 and it's the conductor. He's coming, right? So Peter
Yep.
sees like an awl or like an ice pick in one of the legs, and he grabs it,
cool,
and like
alright.
Peter just stabs it into this thing's
I'll
eye.
stab you in the face. If I had enough powers, I'd be a murderer.
He's
Right?
like,
And
and?
And so like,
Yeah.
yeah, literally, he's just like, you need a ticket to ride this train.
No, I know that
And
already.
he pulls it out, and Peter's like,
I don't know what I was expecting.
I'm not equipped for this, right?
Yeah.
You're in a dream.
Yes.
What?
So then Peter like is like, I gotta find a way out of here, and like the train is like slowed down, and so he leaps out of it, and like he's like, there's no station sign. I don't know where I am, but anywhere's better than where I
Yeah.
was. And so he just starts running again, right? And I love this moment because he goes, it's a reflex, not a decision.
Yeah, I'm just running.
And it's just in
of
the
fear
mud.
and
He's just
adrenaline.
running towards this house he sees in front of him. And as he gets closer, he sees like a photo on the ground. He picks it up, and it's J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh.
And he picks up another one, and it's Mary Jane Watson. And they're being held somewhere.
Oh no.
And so Peter's like, it's just a trail. There's another one of Aunt May, right? And he's at this house. I love this house. It's
Yeah,
so
look
cool
at that
looking.
Gothic
It's
house.
freaking amazing, right?
Fun.
Peter's like, I have to go in there, but I don't have my powers. I'm terrified.
That's clearly a haunted house. I mean, look at it.
Right? And like, I love this. And staring at that old house, I forgot what bravery is.
Nice. Good line.
Right? But then he hears somewhat like people screaming inside. So he's like, okay, takes everything he has, he opens
have
the
to
door,
help.
and it's like, it's a madhouse, right?
Yeah.
It's a
Dear
madhouse.
God.
It's just someone help us, right? Peter just starts running. He has no shoes
skeletons
on.
and
It's just
stuff and
skeletons.
blood.
It's fine, whatever. Dr.
Yeah.
Strange sees this on the daily.
Yeah, that would have been nice to bring him along.
Right? So Peter starts running. He has no shoes on. There's like broken glass on the floor, so his feet get all cut up. They John McClane him.
He's like, now I know what a TV dinner feels like or something.
But like he works through it because he's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, I have to keep going. Now I will say about Ahmed's writing, as much as I like a lot of this, there's a lot of like repetitive stuff which reminds me of like older books.
Yeah.
'Cause, like we constantly have to remind us like he doesn't have his powers, and I'm like, I get that. I definitely get that.
Right.
It is definitely a specific style, and sometimes that doesn't jive with me. But there's some fun ideas in here, right?
Yeah, no, all
Well, every
the
page could be your
decisions-
first page.
That's it does a great job of giving Juan Ferreira awesome stuff to draw.
Yes.
But I also am not a huge Saladin Ahmed fan.
Okay.
I appreciate the idea. He's got a big bucket of ideas.
And a pocket full of miracles. So Peter opens the door and he sees Jonah like strung up. And like Jonah's like, what are you doing here, Parker?
And he recognizes him.
Yeah, and he's just like, that's a really good question. Let's just say
Leaving.
I'm just here to help. Let's get you out of here. And then like Jonah's like, wait, we can't leave you. There are other victims here. I've heard 2 women on the floor above me, and they've just been screaming. We have to help them.
geez.
So here's the screaming. They go running upstairs. Peter opens the door. There's Mary Jane and Aunt May, and like he's like, okay, I'm gonna save you both. They recognize who he is. They're like, Peter, what's going on? What's happening? They're like,
Oh, now you recognize me.
He's like, I don't know. All that matters is we have to get out of there. And then like they go, we'd follow you anywhere, Peter. And there's something messed up with them,
Oh, no.
no.
right?
Yep. We're all ghouls too.
Yep, exactly. And so Peter is now being chased down by
His
J.
loved
Jonah
ones.
Jameson, MJ, and Aunt May.
Yeah.
Peter runs again, and as he's running, he like stops for a second at like the like second landing on the stairs, like the lower landing, and like he has this minute where he's just like, the way that they're moving, it's synchronized. The way that they're speaking, there's consistency. He's like, I was too scared to realize it, but they're robots,
Robots!
It's okay to kill them, Peter. They're robots.
right? But like,
Okay, Splat. That was definitely not a robot.
so
I
like
know they're secondary characters. I don't respect them.
he recognizes, he's like, the robots, the horror, the knowledge of my secret identity, like the
Oh my
showmanship
God,
of it all.
no.
He's like, it's Mysterio. He's back to his old tricks.
Are you shitting me?
And so like
it better not be Mysterio.
he goes like, he's like, show yourself, Quentin. But he also knows, he's like, I recognize these. He's like, the ones that had like better like voice or speech capabilities didn't have as good of internal equilibrium. And so he uses that, he uses his brain, he uses his Peter Parker intelligence, and so he like kicks out the bones in the stair, like on the railing, and like it,
Made of bones.
Because the stairs made of bones. You kind of left that part
Yeah, you
out
kind of
before.
glossed over the idea that the stairs made of bones.
the stairs are made out of
It's
bones.
implied. I mean, we all really were on board. We all knew. What was
We all knew the
happening.
stairs are made out of
This is
bones.
horrifying.
All right, so he kicks those out. They all take a tumble, and like their heads pop
They all
off,
fall
and,
down.
and
Right.
like,
And they were like, we were real, actually.
and like Peter's like,
You've killed us.
regardless of the fact that they
guessed wrong.
are like androids, essentially, like it's really messes me up.
Yeah, because I'm watching my loved ones die.
and
'Cause
I
it felt
and
like
I
Jonah.
did
Oh,
it.
and I killed him. Joe and he are cool now.
Yeah. So like he hears this noise of like machinery and he goes for it and he's like, Mysterio, what is going on? He opens the door and he finds Mysterio being held as well.
Oh.
And he's like, so I love this moment because like Peter's got like his fist poised.
I'm gonna
and
punch Mysterio.
And he's like, okay, am I supposed to be knocking you out or rescuing you? What are we doing here, Mysterio?
Right.
Like, what's going on, Quentin?
Yeah, did you do this? Did you not do this?
So,
you
like,
see the things in my head?
Quentin's just going like Peter Parker, and he says it a couple of times, and eventually like he realizes that like he's trapped into some kind of machine, and he pulls him out of it. And like Quentin's like, "Is that you, Peter? Is it really you?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Okay, you've got to get me out of here." He's like, "I don't even know where we are." And he's like, "The apartment, the station, the train, they made me build it all."
Oh. What?
He's like,
It's all fucking
he's
smoke and mirrors.
Yep. He's like, I had to build all of it day and night and day. I built everything.
It would
I
take
built,
you like
and
a
built, and
decade to
built.
do that.
And I worked nonstop.
I know, and I
retired.
Like $600
since the
million.
last time I
He's
appeared,
like-
I've been doing this.
It's
like-
my megalopolis.
They gave me drugs to keep me awake, to make me more productive. I bled from my work.
yeah.
Like, he's like,
You can see it all over the place.
right?
Who's they?
Right? He's like, so Peter's like, so you mean for the past 24 hours, everything I've been going through has just been props? He's like,
Freaking robots and shit.
he's like, kind of, but like
Wait,
they get in your mind.
do I
They
have
get in your
my
mind with
powers,
machines
though?
and drugs,
Oh, okay. all
Okay,
right,
it's
all right.
machines and drugs and so forth.
right? And
Don't
like,
worry about the
Mysterio's
details.
like, we have to leave.
So wait, who did I yell at earlier? Was that really Mary Jane or?
Yeah, there's people that I saw that claimed
Those
they didn't know who I
robots
was.
too?
Whoa.
So as they're leaving, like
Don't worry about it.
Quentin's death traps goes off, right?
Yeah.
And he's
So
just,
the floor gives out, and he's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
you really kind of phoned this one in."
and like Quentin goes like, I recognize it. I didn't even remember setting it up. That's how out of it I've been. Like,
Yeah.
but I
mean, dude, you
Oh,
built
yeah, I
a
did that
subway
one.
system.
right. So he's like,
Okay, if you
and
forgot a
Peter's
trapdoor.
like, listen, thank God that you did say that because I don't have my spider sense. I
Right.
don't have anything.
Yeah,
And
you're
he's
like,
just
"Oh,
like,
then
well,
we're
you don't
dead."
have to not have anything. And he has his costume. So
Okay.
Peter puts it on, and I love this moment because he puts it all on, and he's like, dress for the job you want.
Aw, that's a good line.
I'm like,
Good
that's a
line.
great
It's a good
line.
line. That's a really
line,
good
So
line.
they flee into the woods. Peter goes, we're safe. And he's like, safe? He's like, we're bleeding. We have no shoes. Quentin has no shoes. Spider-Man now has shoes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean,
planted
he's got-
this for us.
He's got slippers.
right?
That's right. They protect his feeties.
And then they hear somebody like, being like, oh, the prey is bleeding already. Let's follow them. And they see these like crazy hunters.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
And like Peter's like, okay, we should leave. We should move. We should go.
the nightmare fuel's arrived.
we have to not be here anymore, right?
Yeah.
And,
And these
like-
robots too. Can I kill them?
Right, Quentin's like, forget it. We can't get out of here. Like he's like, game over, man.
I'm gonna kill my bison man.
Oh no, we're in the hunting fields. I forgot about this part.
And so Peter's like, you have to, like, who is behind this?
Yeah. Right?
Who took you, Quentin?
Carnage or something?
Quentin's like, I can't tell you.
Why?
And like the hunters are like, that's right. It's not time yet.
Oh.
It's not time yet for you to find out. And so then Peter's like, okay, so pretty sure that they're just like, they're feeding on my fear. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't have any powers. I'm just going to go a little crazy. And he rips his mask off, and he rips one of the other people's masks off, and he just bites their face. Which I'm like,
That is something that Peter Parker would never do.
that's what I thought.
He's like, if he'd said something like, I gotta take a page out of the Venom book, then I'd be like, all right, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it's just Spider-Man biting somebody?
No, he's just-
and,
he's just
that's
desperate.
Just friggin' is insane.
Right? And
But
then
it's also
Everyone
just
forgets
like,
that the mouth is an excellent weapon.
And then Mysterio hits that guy with a rock,
oh, okay.
Nice.
I think he
Mysterio
should've done
kills
it in
that
the
guy.
first
right? And so then like, oh no, he hits somebody else with a rock. I
he
apologize.
killed-
He
yeah.
kills
Okay, but
somebody
that
else.
is a gun the guy's holding, right? Can't they just take that?
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
don't. But, yeah, guns. But like the dude whose face he bit, like goes like, he bit my fucking face.
Oh, he bit my face.
Yeah, that would be my exclamation as well.
Right?
Yeah.
So like,
So-
not gonna get hazard pay out of this.
So
Yeah.
it's like rich people or
so
whatever.
hang
no.
on. So Spider-Man is like walking around. He's like, all right, we gotta go. I gotta know we gotta go, but I gotta figure out who's behind this.
Yeah.
And as he's going,
Yeah.
he trips over something, and he sees all the sets that are just in the woods
Yeah.
where he's been.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're just like behind the stage.
Yeah,
Or-
and he's
yeah.
like, what is happening?
Oh yeah, and then Spider-Side. I forgot about him.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
then like, Quentin's like, you don't understand. Like,
Oh, the apartment
he
is
talks-
one of the sets,
Yep,
too.
he talks
Yeah.
about the machines and all that, right? And like, Spider-Man's like, whoo! And then like, Mysterio just passes out. And he's like, what?
Damn it.
He's like, you gotta be kidding me.
It's just too much. I have the vapors.
So Spider-Side is behind
fainting
him.
couch.
Spider-Side's behind him, and he's like, you're wasting your time, brother.
Oh, brother! Oh no!
Oh, no,
What are you
it's
gonna
Hulkster.
do when the Spider-Side runs wild over you?
So like, Peter's like, I gotta fight you.
Peter's like, why are
Now I'm
you
gonna
here?
fight. So
he
Why
tries
is the
to fight him.
Spider-Side-
What can you do?
Spider-Side grabs him, and he's just like, dude, you don't have any powers, man. All right, listen, like,
That's just
the
sad.
point of this was like to wear you down, and then I was gonna break your body, like Bane.
Yeah, but like, why though?
Like-
And
Bane.
right, like so, like, but like, here's the thing, like, I thought I couldn't hate anyone more than you, but it turns out I can,
Oh, okay.
and it's the person behind all of this.
Yeah.
And so he's like,
Spider-Side is also like a marionette.
Like I'm part of the.
yep,
the-
just like Quentin
the
was,
web.
yep.
Yeah.
And so, essentially, like
So now we team up.
yeah. So essentially, kind of, he's just like, I'm gonna just explain everything to you, right? And so like, it took months for him to have Mysterio build all of those sets, right? That wasn't
yeah.
like anytime like soon. It took months
Well,
for that
and
to
like
happen.
a whole crew and everything it
and
would
he's
take.
like, and it took days for us to to plant false memories and suppress your powers.
Yeah. No, we stole the Infinity Gauntlet and made this possible. That's what we. had to do.
So he's like, but like, Peter's like, no, I saw you get arrested. He's like, you didn't arrest me.
you
I
didn't
knocked
arrest
you. I knocked your
Spider-Side.
ass out, and I took you here.
Right. Okay.
Peter's like, what? What? So essentially, he's like, who is behind this? And he's like, who else would want you to suffer this much? It's the Jackal.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm here. I'm Spider-Side. Why would I be
Right.
here if it weren't the
if
Jackal?
it weren't the Jackal all along.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Also, boo.
Doesn't he have like 100 clones he can just torture every day to get that out of his system?
So that's like
Yeah, he
the
does
question,
it all
right?
the
Like,
time.
why use the androids? And that was my biggest question. And then I realized that probably he didn't use the clones because how often have the clones ended up having a personality and not working for the Jackal?
Yeah, there's other ways around that, honestly. During the Clone Saga, there is actually a room. There's a straight up room that they throw Ben Reilly in, that Spider-Side throws Ben Reilly into.
Yeah.
That is filled with Spider-Man clones.
Yeah.
And Ben describes the sound because it's a small room filled with like hundreds of men in Spider-Man costumes. And he hears the sounds of like them bumping into each other as they're Spider-Manning out at him. And I can imagine that Ahmed read that and was like, one day, 30 years later, I'm gonna make a comic book that kind of capitalizes on that creepy aspect of the Spider-Man Clone Saga. Because there is absolutely no reason not to use clones, except that I guarantee you editorial said, abso-fucking-lutely not.
It
We're
could be
gonna use
that.
clones.
And again, like, but I do wonder, like, we put Spider-Side in here specifically, and Spider-Side would be a reminder, though, that the clones can inevitably betray you, right?
Yeah, all right.
Just like Spider-Side
And-
is now betraying
The
the other
Jackal.
guy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
don't
yeah,
forget,
yeah.
this cover is awesome.
Isn't
is
it?
an awesome cover.
Right?
So, like,
I mean,
whatever.
My theory is that they needed it to be robots because they had to do the fake out where you think it's Quentin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That Quentin would use robots.
Yeah.
And in fact, he did,
Right.
use robots, so
Yes.
it wasn't a complete fake out, but,
But,
know.
like, it
You also had to,
Also,
like,
but-
create
but
a
it
world
doesn't
that,
need to-
like, you were trying to fake
Yeah,
out
but, like,
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
The Jackal used clones to do certain moments of high drama in the Clone Saga, and they had timed degeneration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he'd run into Gwen Stacy, he'd be
Right.
like, "I'm the real Gwen Stacy, I love you," and then Jackal would go, "Oh!"
Yes.
Like they could have done that with Aunt May, Mary Jane, J.
Yes.
Jonah Jameson, all the Spider
But it
people, all
would
the regular
be
people.
difficult for him to have made that ghoul.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with the ghoul?
What's it? It's
yeah,
just-
what is
Are
it?
they
with the- It's just a
clones?
No,
robot?
it's a robot. It's an
Damn
android.
it!
That's
Okay.
able to do all the things and why it was super strong.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
why punching
Even
it
if
through
they
the eye
were
didn't
clones,
hurt.
if he kicked the banister out and killed them all,
he
Right.
still
he'd
killed
still
them.
feel bad
Yeah,
because
no.
Ben Reilly's a clone. Does that mean he can just kill him?
I
Yes.
mean, yes, but also,
I mean, he is a dirty clone.
yeah, he deserves
yes.
it,
So-
but also no.
so-
Like it's not the same.
It would have
Gwen?
been. It would have
Yeah.
been a problem.
No, because like they don't have souls. They're timed clones. She's only been like 8 minutes along.
So Peter and Spider-Side are just kind of having a standoff where they're just like,
Gritting at each other.
well, like Peter's like, Miles Warren, the Jackal.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't get it. Like, what does he gain from this? What's this plan?
Well, he's a sadistic
Spider-Side's
psychopath.
plan. He doesn't want to rule the world.
He used to.
He just wants to break you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's what he wants. He wants.
He got a lesson from Kraven the Hunter.
Is the Jackal on the loose? Like,
The Jackal's always on the loose because the
Okay.
thing is, every time they catch him, it turns out it's a clone.
I see.
So essentially, like Spider-Side is like he has like a way of compelling obedience, right? Like he put like neural shock inducers into him and like all this stuff. So like Spider-Side like hates the Jackal more than Peter Parker, and he's like, listen, I would love to kill you right now, I really would, but I'm not gonna allow him to be the reason I get to do that.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, so you got to go stop the Jackal.
Okay, Spider-Side. You are named Spider-Side.
Well, but I don't
And
have any
so-
powers. Why don't you go stop
Well,
the Jackal?
because he has a remote, and like what it is there's like a neural inhibitor within Spider-Man that's like causing him to not be able to do that. So he turns it off. He gets all of his stuff back, and he's like, "All right."
The final showdown.
Yeah.
How did they get him in the first place?
Spider-Side did fight him. But
Right, and then they
Spider-Side
just-
won. He actually knocked him out.
Spider-Side,
And then, like-
and he
put the
like
thing in
changed
there.
memories.
Yeah, he
or
adjusted.
whatever.
They adjusted his memories over like a few days.
So
Yeah.
he was just beaten by Spider-Side?
Or they could have used Mysterio's gas, which also sometimes inhibits his powers and certainly his spider sense.
Right.
And you have Mysterio in this story arbitrarily anyway. Like, you could have used the clones instead of the robots, and you could have used the gas instead of the inhibitors. What are you doing?
See, like,
this
here's
whole
what-
thing's falling apart.
Here's what I hope, and they don't
No,
say
he just
this in
lost
this.
the fight to Spider-Side.
They haven't said this in the book at all, but what I had hoped would happen was that like the Jackal had made really horrible Terminators in a way where they used
Like-
Mysterio's androids,
Yeah, with
but he
with
like cloned
organic
the
parts.
skin over
Yes.
it.
Oh.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Like horrible,
Yeah, that'd be great. Cyborgs, if you will, or cyclones.
right?
Sure.
So
Cyclone.
essentially, it's revealed that like the hunters are also robots.
They're robots.
The robots!
And yet one of them complained that he bit his face.
Yeah,
Didn't
but
the circuitry to give it
because of the fact that it's at one point like Spider-Man recognized or mentioned something about like more advanced AI, and
Jesus
so like
Christ, this book is off the friggin' rails.
yeah, all right. So this book definitely kind of has like, it falls apart.
Yeah,
Just
it
make them
completely
clones.
fell apart.
It falls apart also because it's like it's almost a little too similar to the first one.
Also, the first one's 1,000 times better and more interesting.
It really is.
Was the friggin' sleeper stealer also a robot?
Sleep Stealer, no. Sleep Stealer is just a guy, is
That's
a
just a
thing,
guy.
Why did you
who's
throw that
unrelated.
away?
right? I don't know.
That's just a different idea.
You could have
Right.
you could have had the sleep stealer be behind everything, and he's just like, I made you think it was the Jackal because secretly the Jackal's actually the worst enemy you've ever faced because he deconstructed you on a cellular level and like perverted your genetic material.
Right, but no.
But no, it's actually me, you bitch. Like that would have been more fun and more actually earned
I
than some
agree.
random shit.
No, I agree. I actually like had hoped after reading that like I wish that what they had done was that like the Jackal, much like Smythe,
Yeah.
had been controlled by Sleep Stealer in order to
Yeah.
get like his
No, but half-ass Clone Saga.
Additionally, what I wish, but like remember you asked me if they're connected.
Yeah.
Like we never really solved the. I guess Smythe actually like had robot parts taken, but like we never really solved that. Like I like to think that the thefts from that book are a result of what Mysterio was doing.
Right. Or like the company that makes the robots that were being stolen are part of like Quentin Beck's shell companies that
Right,
makes robots.
something like that. Like so, that's like my like kind of retcon.
That is a retcon and a half, but it also works better than nothing.
At least at the end of this, he doesn't wake up and it was a dream. Because if there was like, oh, it was the sleepster the whole time, and this was just one long nightmare that never ended for you.
That would have sucked
That would
more.
have been really annoying.
Yeah, I would punch myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Oh,
Well, he doesn't have a hat that he can eat.
Yeah. I will eat your hat.
So
My hat!
so I love this moment because like Spider-Man just flings open the door. He's like, Jackal,
Jackal! Are you a Jackal?
I'm coming for you.
Jackal!
I'm coming for you,
What are
Jackal.
you gonna do with Jackal when
But, like,
Spider-Man runs wild over?
He opens the door and he sees like this table where clearly they've done all sorts of surgeries on himself, on like Spider-Side. He sees it. It's in the darkness. Jackal's sitting up on a throne, and he's just like, "Oh, are you afraid?"
No!
No,
And like
not
he sees the
anymore.
machines, the drugs, the procedures, and like for a minute he can't move because the fear takes over because he's like, "It happened here.
Right. This is the place where you perverted me again.
This is where you like took my life away again." And like so he starts coming down the stairs. He's just really creepy looking, right?
Yeah, he's creepy looking.
And he's
guy.
like, "This is what I wanted. Like, not like you like held by shackles, but like held by your fear.
Right.
This is what I want." Right? And then
now.
like Quentin Beck is like suddenly shows up and he's like, "Get out! Stand out of it, Spider-Man!"
Yeah. Just punch him in the face.
Just punch him real hard
He's
in
just
the
a little
face.
guy, and then we see him for what he really is. He's just the Jackal, and Spider-Man's like, I love this. He's just like,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm going to wail on you.
I'm going to hit you so hard with this.
You'll go flying that way.
And so he just beats the hell out of the Jackal.
Yay!
I'm gonna hit you so
Yay.
hard, if you were a robot, your head would pop.
And like, yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna beat you so hard your clones are gonna feel it.
And like Spider-Man's like, eventually Spider-Man's like, you failed. You failed at what you wanted to do. And
Your Highness.
And he's just like, I'm done fighting Spider-Man, but I've hardly failed. He's like, because the fears that I gave you, they're gonna live inside of you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna be a little echo in there forever. And like Spider-Man's like, shut up.
Yeah. I have a
Shut
feeling
up.
that after this book, no one will reference this ever again.
Right, and he just says shut up a whole bunch of
Yeah,
times. Jackal
right, 'cause
gets
it's
knocked
a-
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
He beats Jackal to death.
And then like he
But
has
he's a
this
clone.
He has
That's
this
literally what just
moment,
Or a
happened.
robot.
right? And
Yeah.
like Peter has this moment where he's just like, I've been so afraid the past couple of days that it felt really good for a moment to be the scary one.
Yes.
And then he's like, but I have to wonder, like, did he win?
Right.
Yeah,
No.
was that his goal?
Was this Jackal's plan to get beaten into the inch of his life at the end?
Right? I don't know.
Was
but
the
like,
plan that the hunters with the mask were supposed to shoot him? Like, what was supposed
I
to
think
happen?
he just wanted to see Spider-Man broken, and,
Yeah.
and like honestly,
Yeah.
part of it could be that he's like, no, this.
No, and then you
I
beat me.
knew inevitably he would win.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like,
He'd
but
figure it out or whatever.
so then
Yeah.
like it turns out he's just like like he's there with Quentin, and like he's like, I watch him walk off, and I realize that like he has not returned to a life of villainy, and he's like, so it's a small win.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'll take it, right?
Right. He'll have to fill in those holes in his head, though.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Well, we'll get some
Spider-Side
wigs.
Spider-Side escapes. He's like, I feel like that's gonna come back to kick me in the teeth.
I doubt
He
it.
calls
Literally.
he calls the people in black suits who will clean up Jackal.
Okay.
He has not shield.
But like he's like, I can't pretend it never happened to me because it did. It did happen to me. But
Right.
like
I saw it happen. I watched it happen.
So,
Don't
like,
tell me it didn't happen.
Peter is like, I have to remind myself of the things that are real. So he calls Aunt May. He talks with Mary Jane. You can see that they're opposite ends of the bench there.
Yep.
He checks in on Jonah.
Yep.
And then we
There's a
see
little spitball in the
Spider-Man
back
like
of his
swinging through the city. He's just like, I take a
Gorgeous.
deep breath, and I swing over Manhattan, and like the sun's rays are beating down on me, and it's awesome, and like I feel it all, and it reminds me like myself that I'm not in the Jackal simulation anymore. That all of this is real. This is such a great sequence though, because he's swinging along, and then like one of the last ones is like the reflection of Jackal,
Yeah.
and he's like, right.
He'll
not
also
a bad
never
idea.
ride
It's
the
not a
train.
Doubting
horrible-
reality.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's not a horrible ending, but let's be honest. Like the first story is the story.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that story's awesome.
And like there
It's
is
phenomenal.
something sort of interesting about the Jackal story,
Yeah, no, you
but
can do
like,
something interesting with the Jackal. There's
but,
a lot
like,
of body horror.
I feel like it could have been a little tighter.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
tighter.
Reasoning behind it and how it resolves could be better, but
Yeah.
it's still a horrific story.
Yeah.
The conductor and the train
Oh,
itself
thank you.
were
yeah, I'll
terrifying.
just
Oh,
come
absolutely.
through this.
I'd like to see Sleep Stealer return.
Yeah, me too.
I know. Well, they teased that he wasn't really gone, right?
Yeah.
In the song.
No one's ever really gone.
I
And
was
that's-
hoping that this was going to end where he's like, he hears the music. It's
Right.
like teasing that,
Ah.
like,
And
we're
that's-
doing more with the Sleep Stealer, don't worry.
Right, and so the question is like, is this like spine-tingling title meant to be more like Legends of the Dark Knight, where it's just like, here are some weird things that happened to Spider-Man.
That was
some
pretty
weird
spooky,
shit.
but
Here
how
are
about
some
this?
stuff that happened, right? Or like, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
really my biggest issue is that these two stories are a little too similar to one another,
Yes.
and I just prefer the first one so much more.
Well, the first one's just stronger. It has a more clear through line. Whenever you connect your story to the Clone Saga, it's going to get messy just by
Yep.
design.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to escape it. This is just, you know what it is? It's again another example of hubris, where it's like whenever anybody's like, you know what, I got to crack at Spider-Man. Got to do the clones though. Got to show that I know how to do it.
I can make it better.
No, you can't. And at least there aren't any except for Spider-Side. Like there's robots.
Yeah.
Like I'd take Cyclones after this.
Yeah.
Spider-Side is also like, God damn it.
The problem for me is when it's like, when you make decisions where it's like, oh, but it's robots. You'd think it would be clones, but it's actually robots. It's like the whole thing starts to unravel, and I'm like, yeah, but isn't that like impossible? Like no one can actually do all this. Like you start to make me question the entire premise.
Yes.
It's like, wait, what?
Well, just like there was a train. How was the train able to go anywhere?
Yeah, is it?
Oh, well, there was a
elevator
guy.
train?
There was a robot driving the train.
Right, but, like, where
and he
does the
built
train
like 10
going?
miles
Is it
of
a real
track.
train?
No, it wasn't. Like,
it
that's-
wasn't. It was
no,
a
It was a
set.
sim. It
It's
was
a
like
combination
like a
of
theme park
that and the
ride.
drugs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
right. So he maybe
Yeah.
didn't even get on a train at all.
no, there's a train car there.
Right, but it,
Yeah.
it
But,
didn't-
like-
it wasn't
And
like part
maybe it
of
would
the-
like shake a little bit, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like when he looked down and thought he saw the ground rushing by. That was just the
It was
drugs.
just a
Yeah.
it was just a big LCD screen.
And like obviously the android just kind of exploded as it hit or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Or just crawled away.
Yeah, the unsung hero of this book is Juan Ferreira. Because
Honestly,
the art is
Yeah, Juan Ferreira's art is
Spine-tingling.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Ah.
I take a spine-tingling treatment on other people, like spine-tingling Daredevil and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just do the Dream Stealer or whatever from like everybody.
I mean, that could have just been
Yeah.
an annual event.
Right?
A Halloween annual event.
Oh, spine-tingling.
Oh,
like,
man.
yeah, the spine-tingling event where it's like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Daredevil, and Punisher.
And Doctor Strange.
Doctor
because he has
Strange.
to
They'll
deal with it.
the Dream Stealer.
Yeah, and
yeah,
like,
and it's Dream Stealer stealing all their dreams, and he's like trying to become more powerful or some crap. I don't know.
Yep.
They all have trauma, and he's gonna like
Yeah.
use it to make more powerful
I guess-
dreams.
It would diminish with each one though, because like that idea just repeated would start to kind of get old, because like you know where it's going after
right,
the first
right, right. So
one.
you do a fewer annuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I love
But
that.
like the art in this is spectacular. Art, like you said, spine tingling. I know Juan Ferreira from their work on Gotham by Midnight,
Oh yeah.
which is like
a contender for the show.
it was,
Oh.
but there wasn't enough Batman in it.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Well, we did do Gotham Year One, and there was almost no Batman in that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah,
you know.
but also he does the regular artist on Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Currently, as of the taping of this
Yes,
episode.
yes, yes.
Great fit for that. So I'm looking.
Yeah,
forward
I
to
mean,
seeing
now that
more.
you've seen this, right?
Oh my
like,
God!
come
Now
on.
I'm like, oh, let's see the turtles have some nightmares.
Let's get the turtles, paired up with Spider-Man.
Yes, dude.
And get
Juan
Ferreira.
Spider-Man, and Ninja Turtles would be amazing.
To make that happen.
looking.
No, but seriously, if you haven't had a chance, obviously you can grab the trade of this. But if you also just want to read the zero issue, I know it's available digitally as well. They've put out like a version of it. You don't have to have Marvel Unlimited to get it.
Oh, cool.
But really, like you're just getting 2 stories in here. So like.
Maybe one's better than the other. Who
Yeah,
knows?
like,
Who could say?
who knows? I don't know. Because it's funny because I read obviously the other one first,
Yes.
which really threw me off when I went to go reread this, and I was like, "What is all this at the beginning? I don't remember any of this." And then I was like, "Oh,
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll have a pinned comment where you can get your own copy of this. Like I said, like I think. If nothing else, the first story,
Yeah.
it's kind of worth the price of admission. The art is just so great. There's so many really fantastic Spider-Man moments
Yes.
in this, like just images that Sal didn't realize he wanted to see.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and Spider-Man gets to be a delivery guy for a second.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Try to-
Pizza time.
Yeah, like he is
Perfect.
in Spider-Man 2 or 3 for a minute.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 is
He's
delivering
a pizza
pizzas.
boy
Yeah.
for a half second.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm glad we did this. It was on the table.
too.
There's a couple of other ones that we could have done. Part
Always another
part
excuse.
of, part of
This
me
got
kind
some
of.
real creep factor.
It does.
to
It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah.
There's part of me that we wish we had done a couple of other ones, but like. This one, I was like, you know what? I never get to really do a Spider-Man book when Sal's on the
That's
couch,
true.
so that kind of tipped it over the edge. But yeah, how'd you guys feel about
I
it?
thought that was really cool.
Again, the art.
The art's fantastic.
The art's fantastic.
Even
Crushes
the
it.
second story, which I didn't like as much, up to the halfway point, I was like, this is creepy.
Still gripping.
Yeah.
Really
Okay.
creepy, really weird.
All of the horror stuff is on point.
Yeah.
There's not a single moment where I'm like, oh, that's lame.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
not
It's
lame.
all creepy.
Yeah.
And Jackal is a great horror. He's a body horror villain.
Yeah.
He's essentially like Spider-Man Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be interesting.
And there's just too much baggage.
And it could be also just
baggage.
editorial getting in the way.
It could be. I honestly.
Like, it's gotta be
Look at all the
someone
black
making the
pages
Jackal.
that they had to use. Look at how strong that is.
Yeah,
Fun.
no, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And like again, the whole mouth thing. For
Yeah.
was
Oh,
like,
who doesn't love a good scary mouth?
I guess me.
Bleh.
So I hope you enjoyed our spine-tingling episode. It was kind of a twofer in a way. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today on the couch. And again, if you want to get a copy of it, go check out comments down below. But otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Niwola Yipa.
That is the lesson that he rejects, by the way, in Spider-Man 2.
What?
In Spider-Man 2, the whole thing is he's trying to like pick one over the other. You know, like when I'm Spider-Man, this doesn't work. When I'm
Right.
Peter Parker, this doesn't work. It's when he's driving the moped to deliver
Yeah.
pizzas.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing?
You're Spider-Man. Just
Right.
swing.
Just swing. And then he does, but he's an idiot, so he fails. But it's like that for that moment, that fleeting moment, like you figured it out.
Yeah.
You're not one or the
Yeah,
other.
you came within like 60 seconds of succeeding.
Yes.
by just embracing.
Yeah, if you had gotten that
sides.
lesson earlier, you'd have done it. And he does that 3 times in the movie, where like the lesson is in front of him, he rejects the lesson, he fails again, until eventually he embraces both halves of the same whole, and it's like, oh, that's what the movie's about. Oh wow, a real movie.
Oh wait,
That's
I
awesome.
am Spider-Man. and Peter Parker.
Duh. You learn that lesson in Batman Forever when friggin' he says that at the end. You see, I'm both Bruce Wayne and Batman. Not because I have to be. Now, because I choose to be.
Now and forever.
Now and forever at the Winter Garden Theater. Batman.
Bats.
Bats.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Bats.